Adam was thrilled with his life and the things that he did.
Tonight, a young firefighter is remembered in the Northwest Territories.
And, if Ford wants to meet, then, just send me an invite and I'll be there.
A rally against Ontario's Ring of Fire calls out Premier Doug Ford.
It just kind of sucked that I couldn't play. They told me I couldn't play.
And a case of appendicitis sidelines a javelin thrower at NAG, but his comeback was golden. Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin with a tragic story out of the Northwest Territories. On Saturday, a young firefighter lost his life while battling a blaze near his home community of Fort Liard. While details are still emerging, the young man's father says his son died doing what he loved. Here's Sarah Connors with that story.
At 25 years old, Adam Yeadon had accomplished much in his life. For those who knew him, his biggest achievement was being a father to his 2-year-old daughter.
My last sighting of Adam and Kiana, Adam was pushing this little baby down the road in his stroller right here in front of my house.
The Atcho-Dinnick home member died Saturday while battling a forest fire near his community of Fort Liard, close to the BC border. His father remembers him as a loving person who was passionate about his work as a woodland firefighter.
That was Adam's focus. That was Adam's way of knowing he was helping out.
Yeadon is the second woodland firefighter to die in just a matter of days following the death of 19-year-old Devin Gale near Revelstoke, BC. While officials have yet to confirm Yeadon's identity or his cause of death, his father says he was told a tree had likely fallen on him while he was using a chainsaw.
They confirmed for me that he did not see it coming, which means the tree or whatever was coming from behind him.
As tributes to the fallen firefighter continue to roll out from across the country, his father says he wants people to know his son died with happiness and peace in his heart.
Adam was thrilled with his life and the things that he did.
Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
Tragic stuff. To Ontario now. We're an alliance of 4 First Nations in Northern Ontario and supporters rallied at Queen's Park in Toronto today. They're protesting what they call easy access to mining claims in an area of Northern Ontario known as the Ring of Fire. According to the group, the provincial government has granted thousands of claims without consent. Chief Chris Munoz of Neskantaga First Nation says they're standing together to protect the land.
The nation will continue to, communicate its position on mining and other development. We have a process that we have. We decide as a community whether if we're going to have development on our homelands or not. And in order to get there, we have to be consulted and we have to be accommodated. And things are done in a language that we understand. And, if Ford wants to meet, then, just send me an invite and I'll be there.
This week, the Manitoba Court of King's Bench exonerated Brian Anderson and Alan Woodhouse for a murder they did not commit. Chief Justice Glenn Joyal apologized and said racism had more to do with their conviction than facts. For more on this, our Truth and Politics panel is here. Carrie Nigon, thanks for being with us. Nigon, let's start with you. What do you think is the most significant part of this story?
A half century of a battle for justice against the most monumental forces of racism driven against these men. From every single step of the justice system, from the police who manufactured the confessions, to the Crown Attorney who pushed through on dubious evidence the charges, to every single other part, the defense attorneys, prison psychologists, the parole board, every single part of the justice system conspired together, consciously or unconsciously, to keep these guys in prison, put them in prison, then keep them in prison. And the fact that they had to fight every single tooth and nail for half a century, 50 years, The other part of the story that I wrote about in my column this week is that there were many helpers along the way. The first person to really believe Brian Anderson was his teacher in prison in Prince Albert at the Saskatchewan Penitentiary. He started to write letters. And then a TV program, an investigative program, picked up Brian's story, and then that created a cacophony of resistance for years and years, and many other people, till finally Innocence Canada, a group of lawyers and volunteers in Toronto, picked up the case and eventually demanded the federal government order a retrial, and that's what we saw this week, where they were acquitted.
Carrie, what about for yourself? What stands out for you in this 50-year-long battle?
Just looking at the two men outside the courthouse, how old they are and how long they battled and how much of their life was taken from them. Yeah, they did some time and they were out, but still they had to carry this false conviction. You know, people looking at them like they committed this horrendous crime. They had to live with that for years and years and years, and they're elderly now, and only now they get vindicated. They get to say that they were innocent, everything they've said. And it's just reminiscent of the Cusan sisters and Innocence Canada and what they're going through. And those ladies spent 30 years behind bars, and it just makes me so sad.
Nigan, what about in both scenarios here about the question of compensation? What do you think of that?
So both Brian Anderson and Alan Woodhouse kind of shied away from the discussion of compensation, but both admitted absolutely that they deserve it. There was an announcement by Innocence Canada to proceed in that direction. There was also, however, an intention to investigate all former prosecutions of a prosecutor here in Winnipeg who is now known widely across the country as having been responsible for the most wrongful convictions, many of them Indigenous, here in Winnipeg. So it's not just about compensation, but the fact that this individual, this Crown prosecutor, whose name is George Dangerfield, is time and time again here in Manitoba for 30 years been putting people into prison wrongly, and Manitoba's being forced to pay that compensation. Do they deserve compensation? Well, absolutely. And if they weren't Indigenous, that would have almost happened immediately. However, when you're Indigenous, you have to make that fight and make that argument. And so I hope that they get that compensation, but I also hope that those who put them in jail, including this Crown prosecutor, are held to account for being responsible for what was ultimately an absolutely unjust conviction. Even Chief Justice Joyle from the Manitoba King's Bench said this was a miscarriage of justice.
Carrie, finally to you here. How do Indigenous peoples who've spent decades in prisons for crimes they didn't commit adjust to life on the outside?
Unfortunately, a lot of people that have gone through the justice system have spent their entire lives in some sort of institution, starting with residential school and then being thrown into institutions. And they, unfortunately, it's really hard to adjust to life outside, a life to, where you have the right to decide what your future is. And being in an institution, growing up in an institution, it changes your whole psychology and how you think and how you approach certain things. You live in survival mode your entire life, and I really hope these men find peace. I really, really do hope so.
Us too. Carrie, Nigan, we'll have to leave it there. Great to see you both.
You like shit.
Javelin, softball, soccer, and more. We've got all the day's highlights from the North American Indigenous Games coming up after the break. Welcome back. 14-year-old Wolf Ross's journey to the North American Indigenous Games did not get off to a good start, because it began with a trip to the emergency room and 2 days in hospital. But as Angel Moore reports, Ross's story has a golden finish.
Wolf Ross gives no indication he was in the hospital for 2 days, winning a gold medal in javelin for Team Saskatchewan. The doctors told Ross he should not compete.
It just kind of sucked that I couldn't play. They told me I couldn't play.
Sunday night, Ross was rushed to the hospital with severe stomach pains, where he was treated for appendicitis. Coach J.C. Brass thought Ross was out of the game.
I was definitely worried, and because he was asking me, when's javelin? And I said, it's Wednesday. And he's like, am I going to throw? I said, right now, let's just try to get healthy.
Determined to compete, with doctors' approval, Ross was back in the javelin competition the day after being released from the hospital. Brass says that determination won the gold medal.
Sure enough, I don't know, he went in full recovery mode and it's like healed twice as fast, and he's here and got gold. So that's amazing in the North American Indigenous Games.
Ross's golden javelin throw was over 141 feet. Brass says Ross is a legend.
It's so it's surreal. It's literally, it brings makes you teary-eyed, like a lot of joy. I was having a hard time. I'm trying to stay solid, and but it gives you so much joy as a coach to see him throw farther and farther. It's awesome.
Ross also won silver in discus, over 80 feet. Angel Moore, APTN National News, N.W.T, also known as Halifax.
A legend indeed. Congrats, Wolf. That's an amazing story. The 19 and under male softball teams played day 2 at the Halifax Commons Fields. Host team Mi'kmaq, Nova Scotia played team British Columbia on a hot and muggy day. Both teams featured good pitching and defensive plays, but in the end it was Team Mi'kmaq, Nova Scotia, who took the game with a score of 9-6.
It's been good. Boys are on them. Boys are on a roll this weekend. Boys are hitting the ball. It's not one man team. It's everybody's spotting their game.
Awesome stuff. The North American Indigenous Games are full of wonderful stories from athletes across Turtle Island. A couple of those stories come from Manitoba and the work some of the boys on the under-19 soccer team have had to put in to be on the team. Our Daryl Stranger has that story.
It's no secret hard work leads to success in all walks of life. And that statement could not be more true for Manitoba soccer player Devin Evans.
I've been training by myself for the past 2 years. I had to teach my cousin how to play, and he's been helping me. That's why I'm here, because I learned about this and I knew I had to get better. So I was waking up 5 o'clock in the morning every day practicing, and then after that, eat and all that, do everything, and then I practice again later, 3 or 4. So I worked really hard to get here and to be on this team.
That hard work paid dividends for Evans, who hails from Norway House Cree Nation in northern Manitoba.
When I saw my name on that list, I was in shock. I was I was just looking and I was like, my name's there, because it was exciting. And then my papa saw it too, and then he came to show me. I was like, I saw that. He was like, oh my God, I'm on the team. Something like that. Because I was really excited, because I was scared if my name wasn't on there or if it was on there.
As for what drove him to want to be here?
I've never played soccer in a league like this. I wanted to be here, and also I know I'm really good. I've been working to become very good. And I know everyone else here has been doing the same. So the challenge is I want to see what's up, and see what I can do, and see how good I can do here.
Coach Gary Swanson says Evans is as much a great person as he is a soccer player.
He's a great human being, and I told him that. We've had team meetings or individual meetings, and I think he's going to be a fantastic leader one day. And I told him, just stay on the track you're on, because the world's open to you.
And Evans isn't the only one with a unique story. Kenton Davis is part of the Manitoba squad seeking gold, and he's balancing nursing school along with playing soccer.
Came here about a year ago to try for soccer, and I actually made it. And then same year I went to apply for nursing at U of M for Pine, and I got into that one too. So yeah, it's kind of cool to be playing soccer and going to nursing the following year.
Swanson says the schooling shows the type of character Davis has.
Kenton is he's a very intelligent young man. He was graduated from high school, and he got into nursing right away, and that really speaks to where he wants to go. He had a family member that was in nursing, and so he wanted to follow in that career path. And to get in from high school into nursing is amazing, because usually you have to have a couple of years of prep in university, and he got in right away. That just shows you what a unique young man he is.
My godmother is a nurse, and I thought, hey, I want to become a nurse too. So I think by grade 6 I was like pretty set onto that, becoming a nurse. So I just focus on my classes and getting good grades, I guess.
Having aspects of culture is an important part of the overall team bonding.
We went to Thunderbird House in Winnipeg, and we did a circle there, and we just shared stories about ourselves. Some of it was pretty hilarious, and some of it was pretty serious stuff, and we learned about each other, and that's really important, because once you know a little bit about who we are as people, it translates into the team itself.
For both Evans and Davis, hard work is a key aspect in making any team.
Working hard is everything, but if you don't know how to work smart, then working hard is not going to help that much.
Just try your hardest and just have fun, I guess. Our practices just have fun, make new friends, right? Yeah, so I think if you just have fun and like play your best, you probably make it.
Manitoba will take on British Columbia for gold. Daryl Stranger, APTN National News, Jabuktuk, also known as Halifax.
And programming note, we'll be streaming the NAG Under-19 male soccer gold medal game, Manitoba versus BC. That's at 10:20 a.m. Central Standard Time over on our APTN News YouTube page and all our social media. That's tomorrow morning around 10:20 a.m. In the 16 and under male badminton doubles, Team Yukon went against Team Northwest Territories in a battle of the North. Team Nunavut looked like the stronger team, but Team Yukon kept it close in Game 1. Game 2 saw Nunavut pull away with strong serves and power attacks. Nunavut won in 2 sets, 21-19 and 21-11. The medal games will be on Friday.
It's actually pretty tough.
Yeah.
Some of the teams are really good, and some others are pretty good skill and equal.
How are you guys gonna do?
How are we gonna do? I feel like
first place.
Yeah,
gold
first
medal.
place every time. Gold medal.
Gold medal.
Hopefully.
And badminton is continuing at the Citadel Community Center in Halifax. The 16 and under female teams from Nunavut and Saskatchewan played in the preliminaries. Team Saskatchewan tried to keep up with the pace of Team Nunavut, but they could not stop the power shots. And Team Nunavut won in 2 sets, 21-16 and 21-11. The quarterfinals begin Thursday with the medal rounds on Friday.
We didn't expect to play with those girls, so we tried our best, and I guess we won. It was fun.
I used to be a heck of a badminton player. Wednesday evening saw the wrestling finals take place at St. Mary's University in Halifax. Wrestlers in many different divisions competed for the gold medal. In the men's 58 kilogram, Nunavut's Iki Avalak defeated Manitoba's Jaron Coles. And in the 90 kilogram division, 2 Wisconsin wrestlers were going against each other, with Leonard Chosa taking gold. On the female side, the 64 kilogram division saw 2 Manitoba wrestlers compete for gold, with Annika Chartrand winning. Lillian De La Garrito of New Mexico was the winner in the women's 82 kilogram division. And you can find a whole lot more coverage from the North American Indigenous Games over on our website, aptnnews.ca, and our YouTube page. Still to come, Winnipeg's Fringe Festival playwright shines a spotlight on older women.
Unfortunately, as we get older, we all, we suddenly become invisible. Women suddenly become invisible.
Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. And from St. Joseph Island, located just south of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, brother Medium Chris sent in this great shot of Canadian wild rye. If you have a photo you think could be our next photo of the day, send it to share@aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting on the East Coast, 17 with showers in Halifax, sun's out, and 28 in Fredericton. Partly cloudy and 24 for Kuujjuaq, cloudy and 16 in Inukjuak. 26 for Montreal, sunny and 29 in Val-d'Or. Sunny and 30 for Sault Ste. Marie, sun's out and 29 in North Bay. 24 and sunny skies for Thunder Bay, 31 in Sioux Lookout. 26 for God's Lake, rain, and 25 in Norway House. Showers, potentially, and 34 for Winnipeg, 27 with rain in Dauphin. 20 and rain in Regina, 21 in Saskatoon. 15 with showers in Meadow Lake and Buffalo Narrows. In northern Alberta, sunny and 23 in High Level, 16 for Fort Chip. 18 with rain in Edmonton, showers and 17 for Lethbridge. Showers and 17 in Vancouver, 21 with rain in Kamloops. 23 with showers for Prince George, partly cloudy and 27 in Smithers. 21 in Old Crow, 24 for Whitehorse. 17 and rain in Yellowknife, 23 in Norman Wells. 7 for Sax Harbor, sun's out, and 9 for Pawlatuck. 15 in Chesterfield and Baker Lake, cloudy and 6 in Arviette. 4 in Resolute, plus 3 in Arctic Bay. Well, the Winnipeg Fringe Festival is underway, and Nietzsche's by Indigenous playwright Joe McDonald is showing audiences what 4 mature Indigenous women can get up to. The show stars actor Tracy Niepenak, most recently of the hit play The Secret to Good Tea, and it runs until Sunday. The 1-hour comedy is the story of 4 childhood friends who reconnect after a falling out. They end up having to solve a crime and work through their issues all at the same time. McDonald says she wanted mature women to be seen on stage.
Unfortunately, as we get older, we all, we suddenly become invisible. Women suddenly become invisible. And I really wanted these women to be seen. I wanted their quirkiness, their friendship, their amazingness. I wanted that to be seen.
Tracy Niepenak was excellent in The Secret to Good Tea. She always is. Look forward to seeing some Fringe Festival stuff. Don't forget that under 19 male soccer gold medal game at 10:20 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning over on our YouTube page and social media. That's all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Thursday. For news anytime, you can visit our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy, thanks for being with us. Have a great night.